to their website, Lizzie, and go watch live.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Obsidian Project, part 3 of our conversation about what is great photography. My name is Jared Henderson. I'm one of the co-founders of the Obsidian Project, along with Denise Keenan of the Philadelphia Inquirer, and Dudley Brooks, our main man, Dudley Brooks, who's at the Washington Post. Obsidian Project is an organization committed to promoting excellence of the production and marketing of photographic content. We have some fantastic, incredible photographers here with us and artists, and I'm super excited to get into our conversation. I will introduce everybody very briefly, and then I'm going to ask everyone the question, who is the first photographer or creator that you deemed as being great and why? Who was the first photographer or creator that you deemed as being great and why? All right, so I'm going to start with Mr. Ackime Snow. What's up, Ackime?
Hey, let me do myself. Hey, how you doing?
Excellent, brother. Thank you for being here. Ackime Snow is a New York-based photographer whose personal work uses his subjects as a reflection of himself, often hinting to the reviewer that things aren't always as they seem. Ackime, who will subtly manipulate parts of the photography, altering the perceived reality of what's being shown. Ackime and I talked a little bit offline, and one of the things he told me is that he has this super traditional journey into photography. He went to school, he ended up assisting for folks, and then ultimately decided to do his own thing. And so I'm excited to get into that part of the journey. Ackime, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Joining us from Phuket, India, Ranita Roy. It's 4:30 in the morning. Y'all show her some love. Well, it's 5 o'clock now. Y'all show her some love for being here with us. Ranita Roy, thank you so much for being here. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you? Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's 4:30. It's so early here.
Well, we appreciate you for doing this and taking the time to share your story with us. Ranita Roy was born in Andul, a small town in India, and is currently based in Kolkata, India. She's a visual artist. She completed hostile environment awareness training at Jakarta by Reuters, whose work has been published in various media publications, including Reuters, the Washington Post magazine, the New York Times, Al Jazeera, The Guardian, DW News, the Economic Times, just to name a few. She has completed a master's degree in environmental science, also having knowledge in anthropology, zoology, botany, all of which who have helped her understand the land and its people in a very intimate way. She also likes to do stories on environment, social justice, mental health, and also with a personal narrative. She was shortlisted in the 2020 Ing Mortha Award from the Magnum Foundation, and she attended the 7th annual New York Portfolio Review organized by the New York Times in New York. She became a Magnum Foundation Photography and Social Justice Fellow in 2021. Give it up for Ranita, everybody. Awesome. And then finally, Ms. Dana Scruggs, photographer and director. What's up, Dana? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent. Thank you for being here. Midwestern in the house. Originally from the South Side of Chicago, Dana Scruggs has been living and working in New York as a photographer and editor for the past 7 years. At the early stages of her career, she launched Scruggs magazine, a print publication dedicated to her vision of the male form. After self-assigning for almost 6 years, Dana was offered the opportunity to shoot ESPN's Body issue, which was her first breakthrough in the industry. Synonymously, Dana then became the first Black female photographer to shoot an athlete for the Body issue in its 10-year history. Since then, Dana has further broken down barriers in the industry by becoming the first Black person to photograph the cover of the Rolling Stone magazine in its 50-year history. Dana's unique vision of the human form continues to be utilized by many brands and publications globally. Thank you, Dana, for being here.
Thank you.
So we're here to talk about what is great photography. All right, so Ackime, what was the first photographer that you saw or anybody can answer this question first. Who was the first photographer or creative person you saw that you recognize as being great?
Bruce Davidson and Joseph Rodriguez. 2 of my favorites, documentary guys.
Absolutely. What made their work so great, in your opinion?
I don't know. I just never, I like, being from New York and kind of seeing this as the backdrop to my childhood. The way they photographed it was just so accurate, gritty, but beautiful. It was just amazing. The compositions, everything was amazing. I at that time I couldn't put my finger on it why I really enjoyed the photographs, but I mean, it's definitely because the composition, lighting, subject matter, stuff like that.
Okay. I see you with the art background. We talked a lot about light and color and balance and composition. That was me my first year as well.
Yeah.
Ranita, how you feel? Who were the first photographers and creators you thought were great?
For me, it's really different because when I started photography in 2015, I didn't know much about photography. So I was in college and I started photography just by my own. But for me, it was my mentor, Sudipta Chakraborty, who is living in Kolkata. I was really like his photography, and he was he does the street photography, and the way he do juxtapose and she colors and moments. I really was kind of like the kind of photography, but yeah, I didn't have much exposure to international photographic forum that time. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Miss Dana Scruggs, who would you say?
The first person that I really like when I looked at their work, I just wanted to quit was Chema Yesta. You spell his name as Texema, last name Yesta, Yesta. And just his composition, the lighting, his use of motion. He shoots mainly fashion, but it feels like fine art. It feels timeless. It feels like looking at a painting, and it's emotional, and it's not static. So that was when I saw his work, I was like looking on Tumblr. I just like literally got so depressed because I was like, I'm just never gonna be that good. And then I was like, you know what? Just tried to start incorporating things that he did into my work with like motion, making the subjects, have emotional facial expressions. I really just started pushing my work at that time. So yeah.
Nice. Somebody's asking for the name of the spelling of the photographer again. I think I got it down, but could you repeat that for us, please?
It's T as in Tom, X, E, M as in Mary, A, that's his first name, and then Yesta is his last name. And I actually got to see him shoot once when I was working at Milk Studios, and I had a little freak out moment, but yeah, he's amazing. And then I met him like a couple of years ago at a solo show he had here in New York, and I don't know, it was a moment for me, but he was really sweet. It was obvious I was having a moment, but he was really, really sweet.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing. We also, Obsidian Project did a really fantastic interview with Joseph Rodriguez for our 5 answers. It's on our website right now. So it's funny that you brought that up, Akeem, because he's a good guy and he had some really great insight and some jewels there. So let's get into the jewels here. All right. What is great photography, part 3? Part 1, we talked to folks who were in the state of photography who have been here for a long time, who are some of our OGs in the industry. Part 2, we talked about representation in the industry through having a collective or having a agent. And now part 3, we're talking to the young guard, the Vanguard, to talk to them about some of their experiences. So because we're talking to the young folks, I have to start with this question. Do you feel pressure do you feel pressure in this industry to be great, and what does that feel like, right? Because you're dealing with the legacy of photography that's been around for a long time, or video storytelling, or advertising and PR or magazine work. Do you feel a sense of pressure at all to perform? And if so, how has that encouraged you to be great?
Should anyone jump in?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think for me, because I'm from Asia and I'm from Asian, and for us it's different, because we have to think of photography and also how to reach out to the editors. So it's a double pressure, I guess. And our first language is not English, so we have to sometime, most of the photographers, we have to learn English and how to write emails. So when we reach out to the editors, we make sure that our emails are correct. So this is the first thing we have to think of. And then I think photography is obviously it's a pressure always, because now after the pandemic, everything became digital, and many people for the storytelling, they are using different things like video, digital, arts, and so many things. So yeah, every day I think if you want to be in this game, you have to learn new things. So that's the, I think, most important part. And for me, I always try to learn new things. Like, in a storytelling process, you have to have learn new things. Otherwise, it became, I think, boring for me. And yeah, so there is a pressure, but it's this pressure always good for creating new things for me. Yeah.
Absolutely. How about anybody else? Do you feel pressure? Dana, was there pressure being the first Black woman to shoot these covers? Like, talk about it. Like,
well, I mean, the first time I shot for the body issue, that was the most pressure I felt in my life, just because when I did it, I knew that I was the first. They didn't know, but I knew I was the first. And then also, I didn't have any. It was my first time shooting for a big publication. I had pretty much just self-assigned for 6.5 years. And, I had maybe one publication that I shot for, which was Details magazine. It's not around anymore. It was a men's magazine. And I shot that like the first year I moved here. And then I didn't get any like mainstream editorial until that moment. So I knew that like my career was like it was like a make or break moment. And I just was like, I was just going through so much on that shoot, because it was also like they flew me out. They had like catering. It was like a real thing. And, so much, money had been spent. And so I was like, I can't fuck this up. And then I was also like, if I fuck this up, like I've ruined my career. I've also possibly closed the door for other Black women to have this opportunity. So I don't know, as Black people, we kind of like put the weight of everybody on us. I don't know if everybody's like that, but I feel like a lot of us are like that. And I just kind of took that on. So it was a really stressful day. But I think the key is also like not letting people know that you're stressed and not letting people know that you're going through some shit. And I really don't get nervous on shoots anymore. Like that's the most like pressure, anxiety, just everything that I've ever felt in my life. And now like I just know I can do anything if I got through that day. So yeah, but I think that, I guess to answer the question, I think there is pressure to be great just because, as Black people and probably like people of color, it's, we're just now getting into these spaces. So it's like, we have to be perfect. We can't fuck up, because like a white person, possibly if they like make a mistake or whatever, and I've seen it, I'm not like just speaking arbitrarily, like, a white person can make a mistake or do something wrong or act out of turn. and be given chance after chance after chance. But if we do any of those things, that might be the last time we work with that publication or the last time that we work with that brand. So yeah, I think you just feel like you can't make any mistakes.
Yeah, we were in a clubhouse room maybe about 2 months ago, something like that. And one of the things, I cannot remember the photographer, I can't attribute it to this brother, but he said, often we get into this mode where we're invited to these big spaces or these opportunities, and the very thing that got us in there is the very thing we second guess when we're in the situations. And so it's refreshing to hear and very intimate to hear your experience there and that pressure that is on us to perform in those situations. So thank you for sharing that. Dana said, never let them see you sweat.
Exactly.
King, how you feel?
Yeah, I mean, for me, kind of touching upon what Dana said, I mean, for me, I try to look at it, yeah, I guess there's pressure, right? But I mean, I'm very kind of optimistic in some senses, like kind of what you just said, like they're hiring you or you're being hired to do some things because you do it. And so I try not to be, not like I'm totally nonchalant and I don't care about anything, but I try not to like be so attached to the results of the things that I'm doing so much. Just know that I'm doing this and I'm having fun, and this is what I love to do. This is what I love to do since I was like 13 years old as a kid. So, and I'm gonna do it regardless. So for me, it's more like, go in, do what you do. Just try not to worry about what you can't control. I mean, also I'm going in, very prepared. I know what I need. I know what I need to do this. I need to shoot this. I need to make sure I capture all of these assets and all of that stuff. But then just go in and just do that. I've messed up, but I mean, like Dana said, don't let them know you messed up, or don't be stressed out, or don't, one thing and like I said, I've assisted a lot, and I've been on sets for many years. And one thing I always notice is when you could see the photographer or the stylist or the makeup artist, you could see them kind of stressing out. And what it kind of does is it kind of brings down the whole, or the art director, it kind of brings down the whole morale of the whole set. So, that's from seeing that. I know that I never do that. If I need to go take a moment, I go to the bathroom, I wash my face, but you never, ever, ever, always remain calm. Always just know that what you're doing is, you're being paid to do what you do. And, everything else will fall in line.
I completely agree. Somebody just rang my doorbell. I'll be right back.
Yes, ma'am. All good, all good. Ackime, tell me a little bit about your style of photography. And when we're younger photographers or creatives, often we have this this sense of, especially creators of color, we're like, can we give the real us? Can we show the real us? How risky is it to let your vision just fly and just be? Is that something that you thought about when you were starting your process of?
No, I didn't think about that at all. I mean, that's something that's, like I said, I was taking pictures. Like I thought, my journey is, I thought I was going to be like a documentary guy, like, yeah, on the street shooting. And then I took a large format class where it forced me to kind of slow down and kind of, it's so expensive to, use that film and process and all that stuff. So the stakes were much higher. So what it caused me to do is it caused me to think about every photograph that I was taking before I was taking it. So and that was a really good practice for me, because I always have an idea, a pretty solid idea of what I'm going to do before I do it. And I don't know, I guess that transcends to what I'm doing now. And with me, like I said, I try to do this because I love it. First and foremost, taking pictures, photography is fun for me. It's my passion. It's what I did as a little kid. Like the first thing I was like really, really into. So I try to always keep that in the back of my mind. So if with the projects of like seeing the real us, I do, I love to shoot. So, I put together my own, if I have an idea, I'll, put the pieces together to execute it. So I guess that is showing the real me. But because I'm not beholden onto anyone else, then, I guess I can show them the real me because I'm doing it for me. It's an expression of myself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Ranita, I'm curious from your perspective, like, we have things that we're passionate about photographing, right? And then you have the professional work that you do. Did you ever feel that you couldn't mix the two, or that you had to keep your personal vision separate from the professional work that you were doing?
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm struggling, because the kind of work I do as a photojournalist is the totally different kind of work that I'm doing, the personal work I do. Yeah, sometimes it's so difficult to, just I feel that I don't want to mix those vision, but the professional side of photography is totally different. And when I work for publication, is totally different than the work I'm doing by myself. And I think personal work is more about experimenting whatever I want. So that is so important, I think, to experiment with your vision always. Then you can create something new. But for publication, I feel that you have certain kind of yeah, you have restriction. You always cannot really experiment with your vision. So yeah, I feel restricted sometimes. And that's really, I want to talk about that thing, that I feel that publication should be more open to new ideas and new kind of storytelling. Many times I feel that there are so many artists, they are creating new work, but they feel that they don't have place to show their work, or their work cannot be published. So yeah, I feel restricted in a way.
Yeah, I know that was something that you wanted to talk about, was this idea of how, like, having people from maybe historically print publications, right, who are now kind of journeying into this digital world, and having them be able to be open to the fact and the idea of telling stories in a different way. And so, not to change the entire platform and tell people to go to 360 because that's what's popping right now, or AR because that's what's the new tool is. But what are some suggestions or some examples of that type of storytelling that you think have been successful?
You can find one story. It's the Eternity of Tomorrow. I think it's on World Press Photo. Win this piece, and you can see the piece is really creatively made, and they use drawings. They use so many different things to make this video. And before this, you cannot find really this kind of piece on World Press Photo. But now I think things are changing very slowly, but these are changing. And I think as a creative, you have to do this kind of work so that industry also change. So yeah, there are many photographers. From Kolkata, Orko Dotto, he is also doing a very different kind of work. And Saurabh Hura, also from India, I know that he is also very experimenting with his work. So yeah, I think we all have to just be creative, and we don't always think about like publication. I think if your work is good, it will find you the place for. So I don't really restrict myself in a way.
Absolutely. Dana, we were talking about how if it's risky to always have your vision put out there first. Is it a risky thing? So we were talking about the differences between maybe your personal work and the work that you would do for publication. Do you find that those two things intersect for you often, or do you find yourself needing to separate your personal and your professional vision?
I I feel like all of my work is personal in general. I feel like when I get an opportunity, because I'm not shooting like photojournalism, if I'm working with a publication, I'm shooting like editorial. And I think I look at that like as a challenge to shoot something that's not super expected, especially working with celebrity, because like they get their picture taken 1,000 times, and I'm trying to figure out different ways to shoot them that aren't, you know, what people have, you know, seen from them before, or maybe pushes the envelope a little bit more. So yeah, and that one is Issa Rae. I just shot her for the cover of Rolling Stone.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, and I really love the image because, you know, the images we shot, because I mean, she's a very sexy woman and I don't mind shooting sexy. And I feel like, you know, this is a little bit sexier than we may have seen her previously. So just to, you know, kind of go there, I really just like was grateful that she trusted me to do that. And it was tasteful. But yeah, and you know, I think this is like, if you go to the shot with the naked person, so this is like commercial work. This is a brand called Necessaire, and if I'm shooting for a brand, I love it when they let me kind of just push and do what I like to do, which is abstraction. And you can keep going back because I have like 2 more images from that there. So abstraction, like shapes, movement, that type of stuff. And they just kind of let me do what I like to do. So that's always nice. Sometimes, you know, brands will bring you on and they're, you know, referencing all of your like most interesting work in like the pre-production calls, but then once you get on set, they want you to do the most basic thing ever. So it's just important to make sure that, yeah, you're getting what they're asking for, but you're also doing what they hired you to do as well. Cause sometimes that gets lost. Especially you have like a creative director or somebody that they just go into autopilot mode and they just start directing you to do things that they've all done before. So like, you just want to walk out feeling like you didn't get bulldozed into watering down your work completely. It's important that your client's happy, but also sometimes they're happier afterwards with the work that they didn't ask for. So just don't do everything that they ask for. Like don't only do what they ask for. Do what you do and push, even if you have very little time.
That's fantastic advice. I want to step backwards a little bit because I feel like once upon a time I wasn't the confident image maker that I am now. And sometimes when we go to school or we go into these places and we're having our first few experiences, we might feel a sense of what we call imposter syndrome. Can you talk a little bit about if you've experienced this thing and talk about how you got over your sense of imposter syndrome for anyone?
I don't feel like I have imposter syndrome. I think that sometimes I think as an artist, you should never be satisfied with what you're doing, and always trying to push and grow and be, you know, better. And like Ranita said, you know, try new things. And I think that when I look at other photographers' work, sometimes I'm like what they've done is like really great, and maybe they're a better photographer than I am, and I can't take a fucking picture, and just like, you know, just like go down that deep dark hole. But it's like, you know, I'll go back and like look at what I've actually done. I'm like, you know, you're a good photographer. You just really like what they've done, and that is motivating me to like push even harder and try different things, and just not like rest on what I've done and the ways that I've shot before. So I definitely know that I deserve to be here. And I know that I've worked really hard to get here. So that's not my issue. It's just, you know, admiration for other people and then not dragging myself in that process. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ranita, Or you were gonna look like you were gonna say something.
Yeah, actually, for me, I get inspiration from different media, like different kind of media, like painters, from digital artists. So for me, I never restrict myself only to see photographers' work. So it's really helped me to try different things and include different kind of vision in my work. And I think if you really want to separate your vision from others, you need to see different kind of work, not only photographers' work. Because if you are following someone throughout, you will become something like that. Maybe you don't want to, but your subconscious mind will create something similar to that photographer. So I don't like to follow someone like constantly, or I don't see like photographers work constantly. For me, it's like I find inspiration from different media. Even I like to visit museums, because those are like really great for if you want to really inspire yourself. Just observe different things, observe different things. And right now I'm on a fellowship with Magnum Foundation, and they really encourage everyone, like, do try different things. And this is the first time I'm feeling that I have the space where I can do anything and no one is really judging me. And that's why I think I now I am really creating something which I really want to create, and I don't think that where my work will publish, because if it's good, yeah, I'm telling you that it will find the place. So yeah.
Nice. Thank you for sharing. Akeem, have you ever dealt with the imposter syndrome? If so, how'd you get over it, man?
No. No
Y'all are so confident. Y'all are so confident storytellers,
like,
but I love it.
I like for me, like, I've put in the work, man. I've been doing this for years. Like, I've put in the work. I've done everything. Like, I'm very confident in what, like, what I'm doing. And even when I'm not, even when I don't feel confident, I don't feel like an imposter. You know what I mean? Like, I love this. Like, I love taking photos. I love learning about photography. I love viewing all different types of different photography. I love getting inspiration from all the different type of artists that are out there. But that doesn't, for me, it's like, I don't know. I guess it's confidence, but I mean, I think I'm supposed to be where I am. And that, I mean, even if I think I'm supposed to be somewhere else, it really doesn't matter, because I am where I am. The only thing I can do, the only thing I have in control, the only thing that I'm in control of is how I move and what I'm doing. And I just keep doing, I keep taking photos. I keep trying to push myself. I try different things, try to have fun with it. And, I'm not attached to like the results of anything, so I try to keep it like that. I mean, as long as I'm happy with it and, then it's successful to me.
There you go. No, I love that. I love that approach. I feel like, for me, it was, I want to touch on something Ranita said and Dana said about this idea of like going back to your work and looking at it and seeing that like, oh yeah, like I could do this. Creative Quest and his Questlove in his book Creative Quest talks about that concept. He calls it surviving the work. And he talked to the brother, gosh, what is his name? Kehinde Wiley, about his work, the big paintings that he does that show up. He did, President Obama, LL Cool J. Bonus points if you know what LL stands for in the LL Cool J in the chat. Let me see how quick y'all are. But he came and he asked them, he said, why do you go back and watch this work and look at this work? And he told Questlove it's a reminder that he survived the work. Meaning that he was able to, there's a point in your creative process where you might get stuck or feel like it's not enough or it's not great enough and you push past it. to ultimately complete the work. And so he talked about going back and viewing old work as a strategy to try to get back. That's right, Aku. Ladies love Cool James. That is right. Thank you for solving my riddle. You all are very well Instagram. You're all very well represented on Instagram through the work that you've done professionally, personally. I'm curious where social media fits in your greatness scale. Is social media the main indicator of greatness? Is it about the followers? Is it about the opportunity? I'm curious how social media plays into that equation.
I mean, for me, it's really important because I born and brought up in Andul, and there are no other photographer whom I can look up to. So for me, social media was everything. I found all the photographers, all the creatives from social media only, and till now, I think. I whenever I am experimenting something, I try to put it out on social media, maybe 1-2 pieces, and I try to see that how people are reacting on it. That in a way that I can see their reaction, and yeah, but we have to be very careful because it's a social media and many things can happen. But I think it's a great tool to yeah, it's just you have to just put your work out and see what happens. And many work I got, many assignment I got from social media. I mean, editors, they contact me. I put Instagram story daily basis where I'm going and what kind of work I'm doing. And so last year cyclone happened, and I was covering the cyclone. And one editor, she called me. She was like, "Where are you? I saw your story that you were covering cyclone, and I got the assignment." So for me, I think yeah, social media I really enjoy. I really enjoy.
Fantastic. What about you, Dana or Akeem? Do you how much does social media play into your brand, I should say?
For me, it's really important. I often talk to like, I guess some of the photographers coming up, or even photographers that have been around a little while, they don't like social media because, one, they're like, people are going to steal my images or whatever. And I'm like, or they put watermarks on it, which annoys me so much. But if it's going to be out there, you should have people be able to enjoy the image, one. And then two, because that's really distracting when you have a watermark. And two, if it's going to get stolen, it's going to get stolen. But once you put it out there, you're also giving yourself an opportunity to be seen. And I was putting my work out on social media for years with not a lot of people knew who I was, but I wasn't really getting hired. And then I realized that a lot of photo editors were following me, but nobody had reached out because they were just following me. And so I just started reaching out to those photo editors that were following me, and started getting, portfolio reviews, and asking them for portfolio reviews. And, I really didn't get opportunities out of that initially. But when I got ESPN's The Body issue, which literally changed everything for me, I asked the photo director of ESPN, Karen Frank, asked her, how did I get this? Or how did you find my work? And she said, oh, I was just on the internet and bookmarked you for the issue. And literally somebody that had no editorial was not getting hired because I didn't have any editorial. Literally editors telling me, you don't have any experience. So we like your work, but we can't trust that you actually pull anything off. We see that you can take a picture, but we're not going to give you a shot. So, she saw my work, gave me a shot. And if I hadn't been putting my work out on social media, even though people had been copying it for years, copying different things that I'd done, very blatantly. And that was very disheartening. But if I had kind of been writing it off, I wouldn't have gotten that opportunity. You can't get opportunities unless people know who you are. If nobody knows who you are, then it's not going to happen for you. So unless you have a very good way of connecting with editors, which some people do, But if you're not that person, if you don't know how to go about that, and if you're not doing it, like, you need exposure. And then also, I get most of my business from social media. Like, you know, most of the people that reach out to me, whether they be brands or publications, are following me or, you know, saw my work through social media and reached out. So so I think it's just a really important factor, at least for my business.
Would you say that you're pretty active, kind of active? Does the agency take over part of that for you, or is, you know, are you interacting every day? Are you always getting impressions every day? I think folks who are like new or trying to build their social media brand might find that interesting and valuable.
I don't post every day. I also am not represented.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you don't have to apologize. We also apologize for breathing. So like, like, you don't have to apologize. But I'm not represented. I do on my own social media. I do have a studio manager now, which has been really helpful. But I just don't, like, I guess to touch on like the representation, I just don't really feel like it's necessary for me at this moment. I also like feel like I've built up my business to the point where, like, unless someone's bringing me clients that I can't get on my own, like, I'm not going to give you 25% of my income for you taking care of my previous clients or clients that are reaching out to me on their own. So I have a social media, I have a studio manager that like runs my day to day and does everything an agent does. But it's a better like financial equation for me. And we're building our business out that way and doing outreach, you know, like myself. So I just feel like that's a good way for me, just because I learned so much in the last 2 years not being represented and doing everything myself and all my negotiations and all that stuff. So it is possible to you know, not have an agent, but I know like an agent can be helpful to some people, to a lot of people actually. But social media, I think it's important to just, you know, be authentic. Make sure your front page is work related, or if it's a personal photo of yourself, that it's good. It's not like, you know, what you ate for lunch or whatever. I do a lot of personal stuff on my stories. That's where I relegate anything that's personal, like my day to day or my dog or whatever. Yeah, I think, you know, post when you feel like you have something to post. Don't, you know, like post something that you don't feel is strong or, you know, not that interesting. I try to like keep my Instagram pretty tight. But I would say, you know, if you post a lot on your stories, people really interact with you that way. So I don't think you need to post to your front page every day. You don't have to post to your stories every day. Like, I don't know, you just post when you feel like it. But I think being active, at least like when you're first starting out, maybe posting every other day or maybe every 4 or 5 days or something. Okay. I don't know, but it's helpful.
Yeah, it's great. It's great advice. I think, and there's a question for you in the chat. I'm gonna save it for a little bit later, about your Instagram in particular. But Ackime, what do you think, and how have you leveraged your social media to get you opportunities and to kind of like Ranita was saying, test, you know, what's hitting with folks that might also hit with clients?
For me, I'm very I have a little bit, mine is a little bit different because like I'm fairly new to social media. I was like not on it for a long time, but like Dana and Ranita was saying, it is very, very helpful. It is because I mean, through like I was having how I got on social media is I was talking to someone I was working with, and they were like, no, you have to do it. Like, no, like this is like, you can't not be on it. And I'm like, all right. I'll finally, I just, you know, bit the bullet and I did it. And then, you know, I try to keep it, for me, it's just like, I just post whatever I want. Like not everything I shoot, I post. Like actually a lot of what I shoot, I don't post. And I just kind of post the things that that I think are kind of cool. And I'm kind of very loose with it, but it definitely has, for me, I keep it about the work. like Dana said, my stories are a little bit more fun. You might get a joke or two out of me. But I just keep it, it's just like a platform for my work. And through that, I've actually gotten a lot of opportunities from social media, the small amount of it that I've been on here. So that's cool. So I'm definitely grateful for that. And I'm happy I started doing it.
Yeah. What would you say to folks who are, invested in social media and interactions, and for somebody to bless their work and get them to the point of greatness? How would you encourage people to keep going, even if, the stuff that they're posting isn't getting enough views, a lot of interactions, a lot of touches and shares? What piece of advice would you give people?
For me, I feel like, sometimes I think people look at that and they value themselves based on that. And for me, it's like, listen, anytime you do anything in life, do it because it's what you like to do. As long as you focus on that, you have nothing to worry about. Don't be attached to the results. Do it because this is what you like doing. Be authentic in whatever you're doing, and and then you won't get so caught up with like, oh, this, I'm not getting enough likes on this. Who cares? If you think it's good, like, then it's good. And if you keep doing whatever you're doing, as long as you're authentic and something will happen. Like, I try not to be attached. Like I said, don't be attached to the results. Do it because this is what you like to do.
Yeah, that's important. I mean, we get caught up in the product sometimes. Got to see your stuff on A1 or the front cover or whatever. But we got to appreciate the process every now and then too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just understand that portion of it. Ranita, we talked a little bit about you being a fellow with Magnum Photography. I'm curious if you can tell me a little bit about that process, how you heard about that opportunity with the Magnum Foundation, and like, were you recommended? Because I know there's a lot of people who are looking for opportunities like that, and any advice that you can give on how to best prepare yourself for those opportunities, I think will be well received.
So I never prepare myself for any contest or any fellowship. I never did that. I just do my work and I look up for opportunities that I really want to apply for. And Magnum Foundation Social Justice was one of them. Like, I really wanted this opportunity for a long time, and I was keeping my eyes on the photographers who are selected by the Magnum. I used to see their work and what kind of work they are doing, and I kind of research their work and what they are trying to tell. But it's not about copying someone's work. You have to kind of understand what kind of work Magnum Foundation is doing. They're looking for social justice related work. It can be personal narrative, but it has to be linked to the social justice in a way. And in 2019, I went to New York for New York Times portfolio review. Then I heard about these opportunities, and I didn't apply first. I was like researching, and this year I applied and I got selected, and so that's how it's happened. And if someone really wants to apply for Magnum Foundation social justice work, I would like to say that you need to think of your work, how it connects to social justice. It's not only about photography, it's about what you are trying to tell and how it can bring change to the society. So it's So in MF, we do lots of things, like we experiment our vision, like as an video, photography, rollover, how to present ourselves on digital media, because after pandemic hits, everything is on digital media. We are seeing everything on online platforms, so we have to upgrade ourselves so that we can create new things.
Absolutely. No, I think a lot of times we feel like we have to get somebody to give us an award, or we have to apply for these things to kind of validate our vision. And at least for me, I thought that the world was gonna fall down, and I was going to be accepted worldwide as a journalist once I won an Emmy. I was like, once I win this little statue, all my problems will dissolve. I'll be accepted. Everyone will ask me to speak. Not the case. All right. Like, there's still a lot of things and a lot of work that needs to be done. And so, you know, I know we talked about contests in episode 2 of this conversation, and I would just say, please don't be that invested. Contests are great if you win them. If you don't, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just keep doing the work. Keep doing the work. Keep getting your reps in. It'll be good. It'll be good.
Yeah, I even don't believe to create work for contests. I mean, certain contests, people, I see that many people are doing certain kind of work just for a contest. You know, it's so stupid for me, because I don't believe that thing, because you have to do your work, and if it fits in a contest, then apply for it. I'm not saying that contest or award, those are like invalid, because those are really valid. You know, people are getting recognized because of that. Even I got recognition because of certain contests. But don't chase, you know, these things. Just do your work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I want to remind everybody that if you have questions, please put them in the chat. We'll put them up on screen so we can have a conversation about it. I want to go back to Mr. Timothy Ivy's question, and this was for Dana in particular. And I hope that we can talk about this. On your Instagram, you're quite often outspoken on social political issues. Has your social voice ever conflicted with a client? Is there ever a concern that it might? What you think, Dana? I'm curious of this too.
I mean, I definitely have had concerns that it would conflict with that a client would, you know, take offense or whatever. Because, you know, I've talked about, you know, racism, white feminism, you know, the whole everything that's happening in Gaza and Palestine. And I just think, you know, you have people, you just never know who's following you. You never know who, what people think, you know, even people that you think have very similar views or would have very similar views to you, don't always. And I, you know, do get very concerned sometimes, at least, especially with the, you know, talking about, you know, Palestine, that might alienate some people. But I think also, like, it's important for me at least, to talk about those things and not censor myself out of fear that somebody might, you know, be offended, especially being offended at something that's just obviously a human rights issue. So I think if you're going to speak out about one thing, like, you know, Black Lives Matter or whatever else, you should be able to speak out about, you know, something like that that's also just as important. So yeah.
Yeah. Is there anybody else that wants to tackle that question? Do you feel like your Instagram political social issues has ever deterred a client?
I think for me, I can't talk about clients, but obviously, at the end of the day, you are a social being and you have to put your opinion. And no, I never find that someone, you know, get offended by my post, because I post many things like social political issues of India or anywhere in the world. And I think it's so important, because then people get to know who you are and what kind of issues you really care about. And it's really important, because we are a social being. We call human being, and we have to do it, you know. And there should be a healthy conversation. If we are like, we don't agree on certain topic, it has to be like healthy conversation. I believe.
Yeah. Ackime, anything to add? There you go.
Hey, yeah, sorry. I mean, for me, I mean, like, I just have a very different sort of outlook on that. I try not to. I'm like one of those people that religion, politics, like you know, unless we're you know, close and within a circle, I'm not gonna touch on those. Not because I'm afraid of, you know, what people may think, just because I just don't, you know, I try not to go there with people. I'm very kind of, for me, I'm very kind of to myself, and like, you know, in my internal, so like those feelings that I have, I just don't express those, at least socially. Yeah, I mean, at least like on a social media platform or something. In person, we can have a conversation.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I always feel like, you know, and I'm a working journalist as well. So that standards and ethics editor ain't gonna get me. You ain't gonna find me doing that. But personal conversations are a whole different matter. I want to ask everybody again, if you have questions, please put them in the chat. We're gonna get to those in a second. As we get ready to wrap up, I will ask this semi final question. Do you feel that you've already attained a level of greatness? And if you haven't, or you feel like there's still more to go, where would you like to go? Where would you like to see your work make a mark? Come on, Ackime, you know, I see you smirking. Let's do it.
That's a loaded question.
It is very.
Me, greatness? Nah, I don't think, I mean, I feel like that should be, you know, others can decide that. I mean, I like my work. I think it's cool. I think it's constantly a journey. I constantly look at it as a journey. It's a journey as me as a person, what I want to express visually. You know, as a photographer, as an image maker, I definitely want to keep going and see where that takes me. I definitely have things that I want to, you know, shoot through per se. And yeah, like I want to leave that up to you know, to other people. Like I said, I'm very much to like, you know, as long as I like what I'm doing, then, you know, everyone else could. Even when I was in photo school, you know, my primary objective, you know, and you know, being in art school, it's like, it's a lot of, you know, talking about how you feel about things, and how this photo relates to you as a person, blah, 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 that sort of thing. But my primary objective was always, you know, composition, making a beautiful image, making a bold statement, making something visually pleasing. And then, you know, people can, you know, articulate what it means to them, because like I said, everything is kind of subjective. So, you know, you may be great to one person, but not another person, you know. But it's definitely, you know, for me, it's definitely like, enjoy the journey for me, you know. Maybe after I'm dead, you could say maybe I'm great. But, you know, right now I'm cool. I just want to see where I keep going with this.
So, you know, you bring up a good point, and I'm curious how everybody else feels about this. Is there a mission, or is it really just about the image? Like, do you have a mission, or is it just about beautiful stories? What do you think, Ranita? Or if you're, you know, are you great? And if not, you know, everybody's headed towards greatness. Like, you wouldn't have been picked out for the panel if you weren't already dope. So we know you're dope. We got that out the way. But do you feel great?
For me, it's like, also it's about the journey, you know. It's not about the destination. And as a creative, I think the beauty is you don't really know what you can create next. And it's kind of mystery, and you just have to create new things. And I don't feel that greatness or something like that, but yeah, you are people are recognize you. Maybe you are doing great things, but I'm not sure. It's just yeah, it's more about the journey, I guess. And yeah, that's all.
Yeah, respect. I recognize greatness when I see it, and greatness is on Ackime's lap right now. Boom! There you go.
Yeah, she popped in just now. Say
what's
hi.
Up, little sis?
Hi.
Hey, what's up, baby? I love the kids, man. Dana, let's talk about it. Do you feel like, is it about the mission? Is it just about making beautiful imagery? And greatness, how do you feel about greatness?
Well, legacy is something that I think about a lot. And I think it is about the journey, but I also want to leave something behind after I'm dead. And I do think about that in general. So, I mean, I honestly do think I've achieved a certain level of greatness. I think the work that I've made to me has been really important. I don't necessarily think, it's been important to me. And I think that it has made a mark. And I'm really proud of that. And I feel like, you know, if I die tomorrow, that, you know, I'll have left a mark behind, but there's still a lot more to do. And yeah, and that's like, you know, this is like the first step. And I don't really think about, I guess when I'm making work, I think a lot of people, you know, want to dissect an image, or they want to like think about what it means. And for me, the main goal, very similar to what Ackime said, is about like making a beautiful image. It's about aesthetics. It's about abstraction. It's about making something that is aesthetically pleasing to me. Hopefully it's pleasing to other people, but that's also like not the goal. Because I think that like the work that has meant the most to me, and I think that has been the most affecting to other people, has been work that I've made without trying to please anybody but myself. So I've been going about work that way for the most part. And I think that that's what's given me the most success, because when I tried to create work for other people, it looked like shit and I wasn't happy. So yeah.
True that.
I think, you know, for me, it's not only about beautiful images, because our practice is different. And for me, it's also about what I want to tell through my work and what I really care about. So I try to do work where I want to say something. Otherwise, it's for me, it's just I want to really say something through my work. I did a story on sleep paralysis, and so many people, you know, before that, not many people know about these things, but it's more about starting a conversation through your work.
And not only did you do a story on sleep paralysis, you were one of the people that you documented, right? I mean, that takes a level of, you know, just forward thinking and genius, right? We talk about genius, but I really believe genius is a spirit. And when you have, you know, the accolades that this panel has, when you have, you know, the experience that this panel has, the first that this panel has, it really does come down to being inspired by that spirit of genius. And so I have no problem saying that all of y'all are great. And I feel like all of the work that you will continue to do will always be great. And so I'm super thankful for everyone for taking the time. I have one more question from Miss Miriam. She says she would like to know what's next in your career and what are your aspirations for the next 2 to 5 years?
I'll go. I'll also say that sleep paralysis is really frightening. I had it for like, I think I had a ghost in my house, honestly. I'm pretty sure. But that was the catalyst. And once I'm not super religious, but I had a friend come to my apartment when I was living in Chicago, and she like burned sage, cast the spirit out. She was like very religious. She cast the demon out. She put olive oil and a cross on my front door, and I didn't have it again. So I knew that sleep paralysis is like really, really terrible. I'm really interested to see how you documented that, but yeah, it's scary. And then what was the question again? Because I just got caught up with somebody else that.
No, it's all good. I started thinking about college. I was like, I had an experience in college one time. The question
sleep
was
paralysis is very scary.
Is extremely scary. It's extremely scary.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that offline though.
Yeah. Once my curtains went up in flames when I was in the throes of sleep paralysis. Like the curtains were in flames.
Oh, geez.
But they weren't actually. But they were completely on fire.
Wow.
And I couldn't move. I couldn't get out. I couldn't get away. And my eyes were open.
that frightens me dearly.
So scary.
So what's next in your career? What are your aspirations for the next 2 to 5 years? What do you think?
To never get sleep paralysis ever again.
That part.
But my goal for the next 2 to 5 years is to start to direct more. I've been directing and starting that process, and had I just shot not just, but it was like end of last year, a global campaign for a skincare brand, which it was really fun. And I shot some like smaller directing things for like brands, but this was like the biggest thing that I've done. But I want to like move towards narrative film, towards music videos, and writing and directing. So like making time to write, and then hopefully having, something that I've written come to life in a real way. But and then just, making more work photographically. But I think my main one of my main goals is to segue more into filmmaking.
Nice. I'm right there with you. Ackime or Ranita? What's next?
What's next for me? 2 to 5 years. I don't know. I want to kind of keep doing the same thing, but on a bigger scale. I want to, get more clients that are like really interested in what I have to say creatively, instead of like, so it's more of like a collaboration. So I would really like to do like a big job where it's like where I do most of the creative, you know what I mean? That'd be great. I've been playing around with a few things. I'm not, that I want to experiment with more. And I just want to keep going, like I said, I love taking pictures. Like, that's what I like to do. Like, even without, as a career or anything, I would still be doing the same thing. So I just want to keep doing that and see where I go, and, keep pushing it, keep pushing the envelope, keep trying new things.
Absolutely. Let's manifest it, man. Who's that dream client? Let's put it out in the universe. Who's that dream client you've always wanted to work with?
For me, I don't know. I got to think about that one. I got to think about that one.
Let's write it down. Make it plain. Okay. Let's write it down. I got you. Ranita, what are you going to be doing 2 to 5 years from now?
I can see myself experimenting more with my work, with photography, with videos, with other kind of visual media. Because for me, I love to learn new things, and I love to, include different medium into my storytelling process. And also, I really want to make a photo book out of my sleep paralysis work, and I'm working on it. So yeah, those are.
Yay, that makes us happy. That makes us happy. Everyone, I cannot tell you how much it means to everyone that's viewing, everyone at the Obsidian Project, that you took the time out to share your stories with us, share your journeys with us. I wish all of you all of the absolute best in the world. And one of the privileges that I have is meeting these dope creatives, and just watching you grow and watching your work develop. And so I'm very thankful. Thank you for your time and your energy. This wraps up our first season of Backstories. I just want to give y'all a round of applause. Everybody joining, thank y'all so much, man. You all stay for just a second. We will be back. Backstory will be back in August. So we're going to take a 2-month hiatus, work on some other programming with the Obsidian Project, and then we'll be back with Backstory in August. Thank you all again for joining. Y'all stay here. Please don't leave. I just have to thank you one more time. And everybody else, we will see you in August. Make sure to stay tapped in with the Obsidian Project at obsidianprjt.com. All right, see y'all soon.